Welcome to the PIN World Challenge Cup of Racquetball here in Colorado Springs. We're on the campus of the Olympic Training Center, again in Colorado Springs. It's a magnificent facility, and we're getting ready for some international flavored type racquetball between the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Hi everybody, I'm Jim Turner, and with us once again is Jim Heiser with his expert analysis in today's match. Two players we've never had on television before. From Mexico, Raul Torres, and from Canada, Roger Harripersad. How do you think it's going to go, Jim?
Well, Roger definitely has the advantage. We're playing at altitude. He has a power game. Power game makes the ball move faster, gives Raul a shorter time to respond. And also, Roger's had so much international experience. He really does have a lot of advantage here.
What about the speed of the ball here? We are at about 6,300 feet. It's tough to play here because there isn't that much oxygen, but the ball really flies.
Well, they've played here for 3 days, so they kind of adjusted to it. But still, Roger's power is going to be the thing that's really going to determine the outcome of this match. Now, Roger does have that slice backhand serve, which is going to throw Raul all kinds of curveballs. So it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I think so, too. Between Mexico and Canada, our match coming up right away. Welcome back, everybody, to the PIN World Challenge Racquetball Championships. We're at Linmar, nice club here in Colorado Springs, as we are set to resume play with Roger Harripersad of Canada with the serve and the lead, 8-6 over Raul Torres of Mexico.
This is a big time in the game for Raul. He cannot let Roger go ahead by 3 or 4 points.
It just seems very evident to me, Jim, that whether it's the altitude here and it's tough to put the ball down, or they've just decided to play kill ball with one another, it doesn't seem like they're, with as many shots as they had in that rally, for example, they didn't put the ball away.
Relax.
There's Roger hitting the ball deep.
You know what I mean?
Nice pinch shot. There's nothing he could get to. But, well, I really don't think that they're trying to hit pass shots. I think they're trying to kill the ball. They're just having a tough time keeping it down.
Screen serve, screen serve, screen serve.
Screen serve, that means Roger couldn't really see the ball off the front wall. It'll be second serve.
Second serve.
Doug Buchanan, of course, one of the better players in the state of Colorado, so he understands the screen and the rules.
Point.
Skip ball.
Thank you very much, Roger.
That's a good call by Roger.
Yes, it was. Because you know, from where I was sitting, I thought that was a pretty good shot, and he immediately calls it on himself. In the court, you can hear it.
7 serving 8. Short serve. I think if he can get that serve in, though, I think that's the serve he should really start emphasizing, because it's been giving Roger all kind of problems.
Yes, it has. Also about an inch from an ace.
Skip ball.
You could hear that one.
Yeah.
There's always a difference in the sound of the ball when it hits the floor than the wall. Side out, Roger with the serve.
Serve 7.
Yeah, Roger's still staying with his forehand serve, which kind of surprises me. Oh, nice. That's what you do when you got that person behind you. You want to pitch in the front corners, and if we can see that on the overhead sometime, we'll see that. There you go. It was a good serve. He had to fight that out of the corner.
Well, I know,
the center court.
Jim, I know this, it sounds redundant, but when we talked to Raul before the game and then the first couple of points when he quickly got behind, his confidence level has completely changed.
7 serves 8.
And that's all this kid needs. Oh, another unforced error by Roger.
Yeah, I think he's going to appeal this one.
He's going to appeal the get.
Appeal is get up front.
And we had a great view of that, too, on the camera.
Take another look on the replay, Jim.
Call stands.
I think this is the skip.
Point.
Yeah, that's the skip. We didn't see the get, but we had a great view on that, and he definitely got that ball.
Well, he appealed it, and the lines judges agreed with Doug Buchanan, the referee, so it's tied up at 8-8 with Raul with the serve.
8-8.
Court. Second serve.
Well, he really does.
Great shot. He dug that right off, right out of the floor. Short hop that. That's a tough shot.
Regains the lead.
Relax.
Watch now.
Watch how he's jamming Roger with the ball. Right there.
Yeah, now watch as he short hops this. Takes it right in the middle of the hop. Cuts that off. That's a tough shot.
9 serves 8.
Oh, hinder ball. That's a smart hinder right there.
Yeah.
Check the ball,
It
please.
certainly is, and I love it because they say check the ball. The guy's rear end is just aching, and they say check the ball. We're going to see a shot, right?
Next one right
Next
here.
one. Watch
Goes
this
back,
one.
Has to turn around.
Yeah. Ouch.
Boom.
And the
Ooh.
referee says check the ball.
Something else you could check on
First
that.
serve. 9 serving 8.
That's all he could do. He just had to fight to even try to get it. Oh, great deception.
Oh, yeah.
Great deception.
Yes, sir. Roger was stymied there on the return. He didn't know where to go. That's an ace serve for Raul Torres.
10
Yeah.
serves 8.
I think Roger, it really looked like he was going on the right side. That was great deception.
Oh, screen.
See, and it's a good move because now he comes back with that forehand serve.
And I think his racket's still crossing that plane.
Well, but you see where the referee is sitting. It's tough to do. It's tough to see.
Unforced error. I think we're getting pretty close here on unforced errors again.
11
Well, I
serves
think it's
8.
also time for Roger to call a timeout and regather himself because it's 11-8.
Nice shot.
Beautiful shot.
It's a tough shot.
Again, coming back to what has kept him early in the game, that backhand pinch on the front left wall.
Here's that overhead. He's in. Watch how he gets center
Watch his
court
position.
positioning. And when you got that front court position, you got to pinch that ball because that guy's so far behind
Relax.
you. He can't get it. Doesn't have to be perfect either.
12.
There it is. That's the
serves
story.
8.
Remember earlier on, Torres had 5 on 4 errors. Roger had 1.
That's right. Roger just is not killing the ball. He's
great
bringing
get.
it right back to Raul. Another nice get. Did it make it? No.
Oh,
Nice effort. That's a nice rally. Fans here at Linmar really appreciating that effort by both players. I still think it's time for a timeout on Roger's part.
Yeah, I think
Relax.
Watch these gets.
great get off the back wall. That's all he could do. And you know, Roger still didn't put this ball away. Still left it so that Raul could get to it. Just didn't make the front wall.
8 serves 12.
8-12. Games to 15, you remember. 2 games, and then if it needs to tiebreaker in international rules, the third game would go to 15.
But I think you made a good point, and I think you've mentioned it before in other broadcasts. Players don't seem to use their timeouts effectively.
I think you've got them. Take them. When we've worked with Lynn Adams in the past, she says take those timeouts. I agree with her.
They're not doing you any good in the bag when you walk out and you lost the game.
You're right. See, once again, bringing it right back to Raul.
Well, that's a shot that gets him in a lot of trouble.
Paul hindered there as the ball was coming right back at Roger, and Raul decided, well, I could take the swing, but I might hit him with my racket for safety's sake. I think we're going to get a good look at that one.
Yeah, it came right back down the line, and Raul
Yeah.
could have probably got a racket on it.
Oh, I think he absolutely could have, but again, you want to play the
8
safety rules.
serves 12.
Good serve. Another
ball.
hinder ball.
And again, Roger hasn't gone to his backhand serve yet.
And also, Roger is, he's playing kind of lazy. If you look at the way he moved out of center court there, watch this. He's just standing there. He didn't move his feet. And
Jim,
he hit.
we're in the International Cup here, the World Challenge with the United States, Mexico, and Canada. How far
point.
have the Mexicans come with their games? Because we're talking about the 1, 2, and 3 countries in the world.
It's unbelievable how far they've come in the last 4 years since Hamburg, Germany. In Hamburg, Germany, they struggled to win every match, even against the lower countries. Now they're competitive against Canada and the United States.
I'll tell you something, we say it beautiful, another backhand pinch there by Raul, but when we were in Japan, or excuse me, when we were in Hawaii for the Pac Rim Championships, I thought Mexico was very good with the Japanese. Come on. And now we see the Mexicans really coming on and playing excellent racquetball.
I think all they need now is a little more coaching at a higher level, and also experience.
Just more high-tech games. Instead of playing each other all the time, this type of a venue is really awesome.
And I think we have to tribute this type of competition to Luc St. Onge, Executive Director of the IRF.
Well, I think Luc is a man of great vision. We're on TV because of his vision, and we've got the various games. We went to Minnesota with the Junior Olympics, and we've been to Houston with the Nationals, and to Hawaii with the Pac Rim Championships. It's coming, and it's getting bitter.
Oh, that was a great rally for Raul. That was a great rally for Raul. He fought to stay into that rally and finally finished it off.
Talking about getting better and bigger, in the 1995 it'll be in the Pan Am Games in Argentina, so that's going to be great.
Nice backhand get off the back wall, and here you can see he finishes it off with a nice kill shot.
12 serves 8.
12-8. He is really going for that forehand crack for the ace. Not quite there.
He's seen a weakness on Roger.
Well, I think it's because Roger now doesn't know whether he's going backhand or forehand on that serve.
Straight in. Ooh, nice shot.
He did not make that shot in the first 5 points of this game.
Well, court positioning was the key to that one again. Well, during the timeout, they were discussing Raul's racket crossing over that 3-foot line on the right-hand side. And if I was Roger, and he's correct, Raul's, there you go. You can see that 3-foot line. That's the closest line to Raul. When he goes to serve, you can see his racket definitely crosses that line. So Roger should just cheat to the left. He can't serve to the right. It's illegal.
Maybe that's the Mexican style of the screen and trying to push the rules, because the Canadians, you say, have their own way of doing serves as well.
That's the game.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Raul made a major comeback, going down 5-zip to Roger Harripersad. He was extremely nervous in that first game, and we talked to him prior to the game. Jim, you think it might have been because of television, but here's another look at game point for Mexico.
Well, Roger has a chance. He misses it, leaves a setup for Raul, and that's the shot you said he's been making all game, and that's his patented shot. Yeah,
and I think we're looking at a tiebreaker, quite frankly, and a reminder, if it does go to 3 games, then international rules say you don't do what we are so used to, go to 11, you'll go to 15 points. Good shot there, Raul. And we'll be right back. Jim Turner along with Jim Heiser. Nice look at the landscape, if you will, the mountainside right behind Colorado Springs, looking west, as a matter of fact. And Jim Turner with Jim Heiser with you here at the Linmar Racket and Health Club. Jim Heiser, I know it sounds like we're being a bit critical of the Canadian Roger Harripersad, but during that timeout called by Raul Torres of Mexico, he chastised himself and stayed in the court, didn't even come out to talk to his coach, Dr. Gary Ness of Canada. It's an interesting situation where I believe Roger's totally lost it.
Well, when you're down like this, I mean, Gary's outside, he's analyzing the game. He's got to have some good feedback.
Well, that's what coaches are for. I mean, hey, you work with people down here all the time. You work with all the junior teams of America. You and Luke and all the other coaches, that's what you have them for. And I'm going to back off of it because I don't want to be critical, but that's a fundamental issue that you learn when you're in Pop Warner, when you learn when you're 8, 9 years old. Utilize timeouts and coaching. There's that serve. I like it.
That's a great get by Roger.
Another nice get, you bet. Oh, the third one.
Oh, on forced error.
Yeah.
That's what Roger needs. He needs to have a few of those rallies where he's going to change some momentum around.
Relax.
Tell you what, that was 3 pretty nice gets by Roger Harripersad. Look at that.
And I'll tell you, for those people that are watching out there, when you're diving like that, you watched how Roger went to the ceiling. He didn't try to shoot the ball. He went up. There it goes again. He went up with it. A lot of people have a tendency to try to shoot it.
tell you, I've never
serves
seen
9.
people that are able to dive and then gather themselves up as much as America's Jimmy Floyd. One half of the national doubles team, Jimmy Floyd and Tim Hansen. Boy, he can just fly through the air. Tim Sweeney as well. He's another great diver. It's great athletic ability when you can do that.
Oh. Well, Roger had it there. He had a couple of opportunities, but I tell you, Raul's not. He's not quitting. He's sticking right in there. He's hustling.
Relax.
9 serving 8. There's no question Raul's racket is over that line. But one of the things I was noticing, I was talking to Jim Winterton the other day about Roger Harripersad. He is so wide in his return to serve that I don't know how he can move rapidly in that first step. Oh, he got a break there. He got a break there.
Boy, I tell you what, if you ever want to take a picture-perfect shot of a guy in the backhand, watch this one. Watch this shot. Look at that swing.
Oh, perfect.
Boy, I dream about that. Couldn't do it if I practiced for a year.
We'll keep this tape for you to take home.
Yeah.
8-9.
There it is. See, no matter what, you call it short, you call it screen, you keep coming back to that serve. Look at, he's not doing it. I don't think Raul can handle that serve.
Well, I think that Roger's changing a little bit here. He's going straight in.
Yeah, staying off the sidewall.
Staying off the sidewall. And that's what he has to do.
9 serves 9.
9-9. Momentum shift right here in Roger's favor.
Well, I'll say it right now, Jim. If this does go to the tiebreaker, even though it sounds like we've been kind of picking on Harripersad, I pick him to win the tiebreaker because of his international experience. And I think he just picked up a few things in the last 2 or 3 points that he can use if he takes advantage of them now.
We'll see what he does with this. Straight in again.
Straight in again.
Yeah, he's going straight in.
Yep. There you go, yeah.
I think if he sticks with this, move Raul a little bit backward deep in the court.
But I think you made the good call. It's straight in, keeps it off the sidewall, and Raul cannot gather himself. Here we go.
Here you see he's got Raul on the right side. He hits it to the left side. Got Raul in front of him again.
But those are weak returns by Raul.
Yeah.
I love that camera angle. I think it's one of our great innovations since we've been doing television is that camera, the overhead. Another look.
He's just sticking the basic racquetball here. He's just trying to hit it where the other player's not at. Not trying to do anything fancy.
Beautiful camera work.
Serves 9.
10-9, lead taken back over by Canada's Roger Harripersad.
Well, that's another unforced error. He's had 3 in the last 4 points.
Serves 9.
Boy, nice serve.
Oh,
I mean, he was set up for the kill and got a little greedy and just blasted it. Watch, he doesn't even take a controlled swing on this one, Jim. You'll be able to see this.
Well, what he does, he kind of stabilizes his feet and he doesn't move them. See, he's just there. He's not moving.
Wow.
He just blasted into the ground.
That may be the missed opportunity of this match right there.
9 serves 11.
Could have gone up 12-9.
Oh,
Doesn't happen.
Change strategy here.
Tough shot. Pulling that puppy out of the air is not easy. That is very difficult.
Now, that's the big difference in advanced racquetball and lower level racquetballs. Advanced players, they don't let that ball go by them. They cut that off and fly kill it, it's called.
Well, as we're looking at it, the best I've ever seen pulling the ball out of the air is Tim Hansen of the United States. He is the very best at doing that.
Serves 9.
Oh, my goodness. Appeal that one, Roger. Appeal that one.
Call to serve
Well,
short.
I think what happened,
He's been an appeal.
no way that was short.
Call stands.
Ooh, mamma mia.
Take another look. Oh, my.
Use you at 4 appeals.
That ball was by 3 or 4 inches. We better do away with these replays. We might get in trouble if they're
Boy.
the line judges. That was a good serve. Oh, nice shot by Roger.
Raul being caught out of position, thinking he's going over to the right side. And Roger pulls it back on the left wall.
12 serves 9.
12-9. If he scores here, you watch Raul take another timely timeout.
Second serve.
I think Raul's got a couple timeouts left. He should utilize them. Ooh, that is tough. I mean, that is real tough.
First time he's put a little touch on the ball and just slides right in. Watch this shot.
Well, Roger got jammed on the right side. He just got jammed, and he just kind of pulled it inside.
Thank you.
That's
Boy,
tough.
that's nicely done. And there's the timeout.
Timeout Mexico. Raul, that's your last timeout.
(13-9) is our score as we're taking a look at Raul getting some coaching from teammates and from his head coach, Enrique Villagran. We are here in Colorado Springs at the World Challenge Cup of Racquetball, brought to you by Penn. What a nice facility this is. Hey, stay with us, and we're really glad you're with us. Jim Turner, along with Jim Heiser. No more timeouts for Raul Torres. Welcome back to the Penn World Challenge Racquetball Championships here in Linn-Mar Athletic Club. I'm Jim Turner, along with Jim Heiser. No question that momentum has changed, but strategy has changed as well. Jim Heiser, you said it a moment ago that Roger Harripersad, who has the lead 13-9 in this second game, he lost the first one, keeping it off the sidewall. I think that's a major change.
Well, also, I think he must have listened to you, too, since he's moved over to the left side and used that serve.
I'd come right back to it. I mean, he really has Raul. He's mad at the referee right now, but he really has Raul confused on that.
I call the serve short. There's been an appeal. Line judges. Call stands. That's your second appeal.
I don't lose it now, Roger. We're going to get another look at this, see if we can tell ourselves. But you can see a bit of a hesitation on the part of Raul. He didn't know whether to go forehand or right hand.
Short it was.
Second serve.
But Roger got a little mad there. Don't lose your temper at this stage of the game.
That was Gary Ness on the television screen there, coach of the Canadian team.
Good guy.
He's a physiologist, exercise physiologist at University of Calgary, I believe.
All right, the ball comes out of play, but since it hit the front wall first, it's a hinder. There's no loss of point or anything like that. It is a hinder.
Except in Canada.
Oh, another Canadian? What are they doing up there? Wait, they're going to get mad at me.
In Canada, that is a point.
Really?
That's a point in Canada.
Or a side out.
Or a side out.
Yeah.
Here comes your serve.
Well, I hope so. I hope he utilizes it.
Oh,
see? Telling you. You win the game now. We are at 14-9, the opportunity for Roger Harripersad to take this into the tiebreaker.
Well, we're going to be tiebreaker.
See, and he pulled it off the sidewall, so there wasn't even a threat of the screens that have been called on him in the
14
past.
serves.
We
9.
are at game point, 14-9. Roger Harripersad at the serve.
See, that's what a lot of American referees have been calling a screen.
Well, there it is. That's the game. One apiece. They've got a couple of minutes as you go into the tiebreaker. Nice crowd here in Colorado Springs at Linn-Mar. And a reminder as we go into the tiebreaker, the international rules call the game to go to 15 points rather than to 11. Here's another look, Jim, at the game point.
Well, that serve makes it very, very tough to fight it off the sidewall. And like I said earlier, when the ball's on the wall, use the ball. And he did.
Yeah, I like this camera angle from where we are sitting. It's a nice vantage point to take a look at this. I think Raul just has a hard time finding it.
It does.
You know, from the serve to his backhand.
Because it's a screen.
No, that one was not a screen. We're going into the tiebreaker. Love the tiebreakers because this really puts it down on him. As Raul wins the first one, Roger Harripersad the second one. We will be right back with you and the tiebreaker. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jim Turner along with Jim Heiser. A nice view there of the Olympic training facility, the Olympic rings in Colorado Springs, Colorado. What a beautiful day. And we are readying for the third game of our match today between Raul Torres of Mexico and Roger Harripersad of Canada. I'll give you the score so we can reset it. Raul winning the first game 15-8, losing the second game 9-15. Therefore, since he had 1 point more than Roger, he wins the serve in this tiebreaker, and because of international rules, the game goes to 15 rather than what we're always used to an 11-point game. As Raul Torres ready for the serve, the tiebreaker, Jim, I'm excited about that. He has changed shirts, and we have a guest sitting in with us, one of the other Canadian greats, Sherman Greenfeld. Hi, Sherman, how are you?
Well, Sherman, Roger seemed to be struggling quite a bit in those first two games. He came out at the second game and he won it, but he still had a lot of problems.
Screen serve called on the first one on Raul Torres. Side out. Roger Harripersad with the score, 0-0. My earlier prediction that if Roger made the comeback, he'd win the tiebreaker.
Well, I'd have to agree with you on that point.
Let's check now to see if our guest, Sherman Greenfeld, is back on mic. Sherman?
Yeah, with Roger, a big part of his game is his mental set. You know, if he can get focused now for the tiebreaker, you know, he should be all right.
But it sure seemed to me, Sherman, that he lost his concentration real quick in that first game. I mean, he was up 5-0, and right away, Raul takes over.
Yeah, I think it's typical of what I've seen with Roger, even playing him in Canada. He's very streaky because of the fact that he lets down. He lets down quite easily at various points of the match, and that was evident in the first game.
Second serve.
Error on the part of Roger.
Unforced error by Roger. Here's
error.
the stats from the second game. You can see that even Roger had a greater number of unforced errors. His first serve percentage was still in, which put a lot of pressure on Raul.
Second serve.
And most of those unforced errors by Roger were early in the game. The last 5 points, he really didn't make too many errors.
Sherman, I wanted to ask you a question. You're the master, at least of all the racquetball I've ever seen, of the great backhand serve. We've not seen Roger Harripersad use the effective backhand serve as yet.
Yeah, I'm surprised, just to change the rhythm of the game. Maybe throw Raul off. The idea behind a backhand serve is similar to an off-speed pitch in baseball, where it's a curve or slider that throws the timing of a batter off, and it's the same with racquetball. And I thought Roger would use it a little more to maybe change the pace of the rally, but he hasn't up till now.
There's that patented backhand pinch shot by Raul. I'd like to ask you, Sherman, we were talking about it earlier, Jim and I, that during the timeouts, first of all, he didn't call timeouts at very critical times that I thought he should have, and Jim did. And also during the timeout, he didn't talk to his coach. What's the philosophy? Is your coach really involved in these matches, or is it kind of like a supporter? What's happening?
It's really up to the players. We decide before the game how much input we want from them, and for me personally, I like talking to the coach to basically
That was a
figure
nice
out.
shot of your coach too, Dr.
Yeah.
Gary Ness.
Yeah, Gary's he's a great guy to have around. He knows the game very well, and he's very helpful because he can analyze what goes on the court. And throughout the tournament, I've seen Roger communicate with him quite effectively, and I'm surprised in a way that they haven't had that one-on-one talk in timeouts.
Jim, there was a nice shot by Roger there to get the point, in that he's able to make the direct shot, direct line, keeping it off the side of the wall, and that's what changed the momentum of the second game in his favor.
He had it again. He just missed it there, but he definitely had it, and it also was set up by that serve.
Here's another look at this.
There it is. He had the straight-in shot, and he just skipped it. He doesn't have to make it that perfect. There's Enrique, the coach of the Mexican team, Enrique Villagrán.
Well, he's really excited because he knows he's on the verge of the first ever win by the Mexicans in an international venue if they're playing the United States or against Canada. So he's got the whole team down there real excited.
Well, Raul can't afford to make those type of unforced errors. He just has to kind of play just steady. Roger's not playing great, so if he just stays steady, he'll stick in the game.
Sherman, let me ask you a question. You guys play the screen serve differently in Canada. Do you think Roger's been intimidated a bit, maybe taken out of his service by the American judge here who's calling everything a screen serve?
I don't think so. Roger, we've played here 3 days already, and he's got a lot of experience in international play. So it's not that Roger's thrown off. I just don't think that he's going to the same type of serving game as he should, like he did against Tim in yesterday's match.
Unbelievable backhand shot by Roger.
Tim Sweeney, of course, we were speaking about, one of the great American players.
Yeah. I don't think he made that shot. I think he skipped it.
Well, not the way he's walking around. He certainly didn't. But what a perfect setup for himself, and he just failed to do so.
I think it's evident when you see Roger walk around very casually between rallies. It's evident that he's not as focused as he should be for an important match like this, especially in a tiebreaker.
Yeah, that's the point that I would make. That, I mean, we're not picking on him, but the critical time is the tiebreaker. If there's ever an opportunity, as we watch him make the mistake, there's ever an opportunity, one that you don't even need help with. The tiebreaker itself tells you to get up.
Nice shot by Raul. Roger hasn't hit that overhead effectively at all today. Not even once or twice.
Jim, I've got a question for you. In the international rules, we're going to point 15. Does it stay at 3 timeouts?
It stays at 3 timeouts.
Okay.
See, there it is again, off the back wall, and he did the same thing. He's just not, what he wants to do with that overhead, he wants to hit a little bit lower just to force Raul into deep court, but he doesn't want it to come off the back wall. There you can see it, they're all coming off the back wall.
Certainly one thing we've seen in the 2 previous games, Raul really has a great ability athletic-wise to spin, whether it's spin around, come on a nice effective backhand hit, or as we saw right there on the forehand.
Well, you're probably got one of the best spinners in the game talking to us right now in Sherman Greenfield.
What I think Roger must do right now is he's got to realize something that I did with Raul in my match, is Raul does like the splat in the side front, and I brought my center court positioning up slightly. And I think Roger's hanging back a little bit, when perhaps he should move up a step or two, and he'd be able to reach up to those splats that Raul's hitting.
See, there's that serve that I think he should be doing every time, because that's what changed the momentum for him, so he can take this into the tiebreaker. That was a good pass shot.
It was a great shot, but I don't know. Gary doesn't seem to be very happy with what's going on.
Watch him pull it back from the backhand wall. Good power.
Nice cross-court shot.
Raul
couldn't get it.
I think this is the serve Roger should go to more often, one where he puts his, he starts just outside that line, and he goes for the crack on the left side.
And see, that was the proper shot by Roger. That time he had Raul in front of him. Instead of trying to pinch in the ball, he wide angle past him to get him out of there.
Jim Turner along with Jim Heiser and our guest, as we're watching this tiebreaker between Roger Harripersad and Raul Torres, is Sherman Greenfield, one of the great players from Canada and one of the most unique abilities I think there is in the world. The very, very effective backhand serve. It's unbelievable.
Well, once again, Roger had Raul moved up front, and he just passed him. And I think now if Roger can just stick with that shot. Oh, boy, there's the serve.
See, what happens is he's got a good serve to the backhand. Raul gives a weak return, which sets up Roger, as we saw, for the kill. We're going to see exactly that right here in this sequence. There's the weak return. And the kill shot by Roger Harripersad. Take another look at that.
That's a perfect angle for the serve. That's what he's trying to do every time.
Well, Raul Torres does not like the way this game is going. He is behind Roger Harripersad, and he has called the timeout, and we'll be right back with you. It's a tiebreaker, the third game. Roger Harripersad of Canada with the serve. The score is 6-3. Raul Torres has 2 timeouts left. Roger with the full complement of 3.
Well, he's 50% of the first serves in for both players. And it's much more meaningful for Roger because Roger's serve definitely is giving Raul more problems than Raul is giving Roger.
Well, I just think no matter whether Roger's been moping or been down emotionally or whatever, I just think his international experience is what's going to lead him to the victory here in this tie-breaking game. There it is, an ace from the forehand side. Now, Sherman, Greenfield, you've got the ability to do that on an ace on a backhand serve.
It's a mirror image on the backhand. I feel more comfortable with a flat swing, so I start on the opposite side and try to go for the opposite crack, and that's one of the backhand serves that I use.
Hey, Sherm, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We appreciate watching you play, and your abilities are terrific.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Some nice gets by Raul Torres.
Now, you notice Roger's gone away from the pinch shot. He's hitting the ball straight in.
Yep, just like you said in the second game, which brought him to the victory.
Straight in shot. Raul barely gets it. Another straight shot. He's staying away from the walls.
Earlier, he was really making some mistakes from this deep, 39 feet against the wall.
9 serves 3.
9-3.
Well,
I'd look to see if he scores here that Raul would take another timeout. Well, there's an ace serve to the forehand. I would have to think that it's time for a timeout, and a very feeble attempt by our crowd here at a wave. There's the timeout. I think that's a very good timeout.
well,
Very good.
This is a great serve. He's been really serving well to the left side, and he just floats one in the right side.
Well, a moment ago, you got the ace serve to the backhand. Now we see it to the forehand side.
He hit that really well. He deceived that serve very, very well. And I'll tell you, this is a big, big hole for Raul to come out of now.
Look at this camera angle. You get to see it a lot better. Raul moves very, very slow on it. But the serve was just in there perfectly. It's 10-3 with Roger Harripersad in the lead. Some excellent play by the young Mexican Raul Torres. He understands that he's carrying the flag, so to speak, for his country and his team. And there's an awful lot of competition here between the United States and Canada and Mexico. And if Raul were able to win this one, it would mean the first ever international victory for a Mexican player in this competition between either a player from Canada or the United States. So, kind of a lot of pressure there on Raul.
Well, Roger's killing the ball a little bit better this game than he has in previous games. And
boy, there it is again.
But that's the difference.
Third out of 4, 3 out of 4 aces on those serves.
That's the big difference right there. And the wave popped up. You saw it in the bottom of the screen.
Feeble attempt by the Colorados at the wave, and it doesn't belong in racquetball.
11 serves
Hey, the
3.
worst fans in the world at the wave are the Seattle Seahawks fans. They put the wave on when their own team has the ball, and it causes them to call timeout because they can't get their signals going.
Oh, he's got that angle down now. There it is, the wave, every time there's an ace.
Of course, and what a confidence builder it is for you to get the aces in.
Well, that's the first time all weekend that Roger really has been able to hit that crack. I mean, he's been missing it all week. I don't know. I don't know if
12 serves 3.
there's 4 aces for Roger, 0 for Raul, and that really got Roger back into this game.
Don't be confused. We are in the tiebreaker, but international rules call for the game to go to 15 points. It's 12-3, second serve.
I noticed Sherman Greenfield was here imprinting that crack into his mind for his upcoming match.
3 serves 12.
3-12. This is really a big deficit for Raul to overcome because Roger's playing a lot better racquetball now, and he's very relaxed.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jim, being an old field goal kicker in the NFL, I don't believe deficits are too large. I think if you keep plugging away and go 1 point at a time, that you're able to hang in there. Here's another opportunity from the overhead camera to see this point.
See, Roger had a pinch shot there. He missed it. Raul just had the right side open, and Roger couldn't get it back to the front wall. Great shot at one player on the left side, and you use the right side.
Pure power. Absolute power to get that ball past Raul.
Roger's not making any errors now. He might not be killing the ball, but at least he's not beating himself.
Well, I think he took advantage of the element there. That was not a kill shot, but we are at such altitude that that's a rocket ball.
12-4. There's a fan, a Mexico fan, cheering for Raul.
We've got a nice crowd here today at the Linmar Racket and Health Club, Colorado Springs, Colorado.
See, that was a great pass shot. He had Roger in front of him, and he turned around and completely turned him around and got the ball behind him. And Roger just reversed the tables, did exactly the same thing to him.
12 serves 4.
12-4. Now Roger's going back for that crack. This will be off the back wall.
That's a gutsy shot there. I mean, you take that shot because you're ahead 12-4, but when you're standing on the back wall of the door and pinch it out, it's got to be a pinch, because if it's not, it's certainly going to be a side-out shot for Raul Torres.
But at least Roger's not skipping it. Like we said earlier. I mean, earlier on, he was skipping all those.
Well, there's a score with Raul Torres winning the first game 15-8, losing the second one to Roger Harripersad 15-9. And we're now looking at the third game, the tiebreaker, with the Canadian ahead 13-4. Now 14-4. So we are looking at game match point right now with Roger Harripersad of Canada with the serve.
Well, Jim, this whole change and shift in momentum was all caused by that serve right there.
I agree. I absolutely agree with you.
Look at that shot. I mean, that's perfect.
Boy, and that's, again, off the glass, the back wall. That's a confident shot.
14 serves 4.
See if he tries to fake him out, put it to the forehand. He's in the backhand service area where he's had 3 aces. See what he does.
Short serve. The second serve.
He's usually come over to the right wall or center and put a very soft, high lob to the backhand of his opponent. See what he does. There it is.
Boy, was Roger cheating. That's a Sherman Greenfield cheat right there. He was moving way up in the front court. That was a great shot by Raul.
14.
A little dink there.
Yeah. Both guys trying to put a little change of pace on the ball. Point, and it's 5-14.
5 serves 14.
Voice in the background is that of referee Doug Buchanan. Nice pinch to the front left corner, side out. Again, we are at game match point with Roger Harripersad with the serve.
Well, Raul kind of forced that shot a little bit from deep corner, and you can't leave your opponent in front of you because he's going to pinch it like that, and there's nothing you can do. Canadian screen serve.
Thanks, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Jams Raul with the ball, and that is game match point, and nicely done by Raul Torres of Mexico. I know the Mexican team extremely happy to take this one into the tiebreaker, and Roger Harripersad of Canada and all his teammates happy to escape with this one, since Roger Harripersad lost an earlier match to Juan Carlos Quevedo.
Well, here's match point. It was a good serve, and that's very close to him, but there's nothing Raul could do with that. The ball bounced right out into him, and Roger just capitalizes and puts the ball away.
Well, I really enjoyed this match. I enjoy anything that takes it down to the tiebreaker, and as we count her down, Jim Heiser, we're going to take another look at game match point.
Well, You said it earlier on, that serve was it. That changed the whole game. I mean, it set up all the rallies. It put a lot of pressure on Raul. Great first service percentage.
Strange how you can come back after 3 games and win it, and yet, one, you're not in the game mentally or emotionally, and I'm talking about Roger Harripersad, and 2, you let your opponent really overtake you and play so well. As we see the 3-game total there, Roger Harripersad losing the first game 15-8, coming back with a nice victory in the second game 15-9, and winning the final game, the tiebreaker. International rules again takes you to 15 points. He wins it 15-5. We're going to take a short pause. When we come back, we're going to talk to our players here, especially our winner, Roger Harripersad. We'll be right back with you from Colorado Springs, Colorado at the Linmar Racket and Health Club. Jim Turner back with you here at the Linmar Racket and Health Club in Colorado Springs, and what a scene. We hope you enjoy the scenery around Colorado as I do, my home state since 1973. We're going to go on courtside now as you see the scores with Jim Heiser and the winner of our match, Canadian Roger Harripersad. Jim?
Well, Roger, that was a great comeback. You had some emotional problems early, but you changed your serve, and it seemed to help out a lot.
Actually, I switched it at about 9-5 in the second game when I took the timeout. I narrowed it down to lack of concentration during the match, and that serve, that crack ace serve, seems to help me focus a little bit better. And when I got a few crack aces, it carried over, and the momentum carried over to the rallies.
Well, I also think that serve set up, if we want to look at the monitor here, that serve set up that last shot of the rally. Here we go.
Yeah, I was going for a crack ace right here, but I kind of missed that one when he took it off the back wall. I knew I had to put this one away, or that'd be it. I didn't want to go another point, and I was lucky there. He kind of missed it. I put a lot of pace on it.
Well, that was a great game, great comeback, and congratulations.
Thanks, Jim.
Back to you up there.
Well, once again, Jim Heiser, that was a nice comeback because Roger had to overcome himself with the emotions, and sometimes he just seemed out of the match. Congratulations to Raul Torres of Mexico as well. Mexico ranked 3rd in the world in racquetball, with the Canadians #2 and the Americans #1. Well, that's the final, and we really appreciate you being with us here in the World Cup Challenge of Racquetball. For Jim Heiser and our producer Brian Cooper, I'm Jim Turner. Thanks for being with us.